The Lakers picked a hell of a time to have their worst night of the year. UCLA basketball keeps arguably the most important player on the roster now. And it turns out the rest of the NFL looks at the Chargers offseason and asked, what the hell? Good morning. I'm James. And this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. So it is April 3rd, 2026. Welcome back to the home office. Do you like being in the know about LA sports? Well, if you do, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop an update. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, we have an expanded look at the scoreboard because it was a very tough night for the Angelenos. We always be honest with ourselves here. Starting off with Oklahoma City 139, Lakers 96. You wake up in Oklahoma City, you already know your day is ruined. Let's be real about this. You look out your hotel window, you see you're in Oklahoma City, and you know it's only going to get worse. I worked in that state for 3 months. There is nothing redeeming about Oklahoma other than a damn good NBA team. So, in a matter of minutes after tip-off, I think we all forgot about the vibes that the Lakers built up over the last month. Could the Lakers' night have gotten any worse, right? Luka Doncic left in the third quarter with a strained left hamstring, and he's going to get an MRI today to find out the extent of the damage. Now, it is a known fact that Oklahoma is a state full of mouth-breathing hillbillies, but I work in healthcare. I know for a fact that they have an MRI out there. You might also recall Doncic missed 4 games after the same hamstring was injured a couple of months ago. For that matter, we hear all these pointless non-records that LeBron James has been handed this year. Most wins ever. Most games ever played. Yeah, this was the second worst loss of his career. So there's that. Austin Reeves led with only 15 points, but at least he walked off the court under his own power. So there's that. The Thunder pressured on defense. The Lakers wilted. Simple as that. On the bright side, though, unlike Oklahoma, we have food. How a state can lack grocery stores and still be morbidly obese is beyond me. But we face reality. Wasn't the Lakers' night. San Antonio 118, Clippers 99. Kawhi Leonard scored 24. This too is an ugly loss, but the Clippers are at least assured of being in the play-in round. They aren't going out of the play-in round. They aren't missing the play-in round. They are locked in. The Lakers' loss mattered more because they're third in the conference and they wanted to see how they measured up against the NBA's best. Nashville 5, Kings 4 in a shootout. Adrian Kempe scored. It is the 4th time that he has scored at least 30 goals in a season. The Kings have tied an NHL record by going to overtime for the 40th time in a season. Meanwhile, today the Dodgers are at Washington at 10 a.m. Emmett Sheehan versus Miles Mikolas. And Angel City FC is at Orlando at 5. After years of mediocrity, Angel City right now is the only unbeaten team in the NWSL. So with that out of the way, what do you say we get to the news? Guard Eric Daly Jr., who started all 35 games for UCLA basketball last season, has agreed to stay in Westwood. Now, to be frank, there wasn't really much chance of Daly leaving. He said he was interested after the Bruins were eliminated in the NCAA tournament, and Mick Cronin felt likewise. Daly averaged more than 11 points per game last year, and for all the chatter that was going on earlier this week about how vital it was to keep center Xavier Booker, Daly actually grabbed more rebounds per game. Now, from what I've seen, and I'm not going to front, I didn't see every UCLA basketball game. It seems that Daly needs to establish consistency in his senior year. Maybe last season he was deferring to Donovan Dent at times. I don't know for sure. I don't know the play calling. But Daly's numbers were like watching a seismograph at Caltech when the San Andreas Fault was feeling a little grumpy. The Bruins now have six players returning from last year's team. So this is almost half a roster. And I'm looking at who's returning, and to be frank with you, Daly looks like the best candidate to have a breakout season. Because for all the hoopla that came for adding Dent, he only averaged 13 points a game. You get marginal consistency out of Daly, you get better numbers than Dent. Just my 2 cents. If you're a UCLA fan, let me know what you think in the comments thread. I am very aware that I have been crapping all over the Chargers offseason, but before you think it unfair, your boy has backup. An unnamed NFL exec said the Bolts, quote, are the lowest cash spending team in the league, unquote. In other words, owner Alex Spanos a couple of years ago said he wanted to reimagine how the Chargers functioned. So he hired Jim Harbaugh and then snapped his wallet shut, just like that. There's another NFL exec out there. He goes to The Athletic and he says, quote, it becomes really hard for the teams who are passive to win big. If you're the Chargers and you're going to play this thing passive, yeah, you're going to compete with the Broncos right now, but in 2 years, it's going to be a different team that passed you, unquote. Now, to be honest, I can't name these NFL execs. They were both speaking with The Athletic off the record. But before you rip these execs, tell me how they're wrong. Because it looks that way to me. Had the Chargers been continually investing in the product, they could have taken advantage of Kansas City's collapse last year. Denver did. Who's to say in 2 to 3 years, especially after the offseason that Las Vegas just put together, that say Francisco Mendoza doesn't figure it out, has a better offensive line, has a running game, and all of a sudden the Raiders pass up the Bolts. And the Bolts are still there getting 9, 10 wins a year and getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs. I'm not saying it will happen, but can you envision it? Because I can. You can at least credit the Bolts, though, for not getting emotionally attached to keeping some players. Give them credit for that. The exec who accused the team of being too passive in the offseason looked at them letting edge rusher Odafe Oweh go and said, quote, that is 2 teams now that have let Oweh walk. And it wasn't like his former coach was banging down the doors to get him. It wasn't like Baltimore was trying to get him back with Jesse Minter, unquote. Those would qualify as great points. Going back to UCLA, the football team opened spring practice yesterday. Brand new coaching staff, massive roster turnover. So I think it's absolutely foolish to try to forecast anything after one day. Does it really, like I'm going to sit there and tell you, oh, this team is going to rebound, or oh, this, don't buy the hype? It's one day. You look at USC across town. They've got a ton returning on offense. The entire offensive line, their top 2 running backs, and a potential Heisman winner at quarterback, all of them familiar with how USC wants to run things. They absolutely should look polished during spring ball. UCLA, I'm not saying they're going to stink this year, but I'm not going to sit there and say a dang thing after one spring practice. Now, if you are keeping close tabs, the LA Times is reporting that one of the bigger battles in spring ball is going to be who's going to play right tackle. The Dodgers are walking a fine line with Max Muncy. Now, if you look at the lineup right now, the whole lineup looks like they're panhandling for base hits right now. Dave Roberts, though, when it comes to Muncy, Dave Roberts is like, oh, no. We are not platooning Max Muncy. Not platooning Muncy at all. Which is kind of odd, because since 2022, he has hit just 165 against left-handed pitchers. And he was benched for Santiago Espinal Saturday against a lefty. And even Muncy admitted he's been atrocious against lefties since he injured his elbow years ago. But platoon? Nah. Why would you think that? The WNBA expansion draft will be held today for 2 new teams, which should bring about the first needed wave of change to the Sparks roster, and that is change that is most definitely needed. Our Yas Queens in Yellow haven't qualified for the playoffs since 2020. The Sparks are under no obligation, by the way, to release who is protected in this expansion draft. We do know that you can protect 5. But frankly, the Sparks have stunk for so long. Can you name 5? I can only name 4. And that's stretching it. Kelsey Plum, Derica Hamby, Rakea Jackson, Cameron Brink. Because what Brink lacks in game, she makes up for in social media presence. So there's that. So yeah, if you're looking for players at the end of the bench for your expansion team, look no further than the LA Sparks. And Godspeed on that. USC basketball has hired former Hawaii associate head coach Brad Davidson as an assistant, which I get it. It sounds like whatevs, but at least he helped the Rainbow Warriors reach March Madness this year. I can defend that hire that much. What I can't defend, what I can't explain is why anybody would fight for rainbows. You thought the UC Santa Cruz Banana Slugs was an atrocity of a nickname? How many hallucinogens do they have out in Hawaii to where you see a rainbow and you think, that rainbow needs my help, time to man up? What the hell is a rainbow warrior anyway? But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me. Do you need to find a sense of optimism after that Lakers mollywhopping last night? For that matter, are you optimistic about Eric Daly's future with UCLA? And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.